Hey everyone, it's Mark. As we've already seen in Pokémon Journeys, Ash has shown himself to be capable of using Dynamax, Z-moves, and most recently, Mega Evolution. Prior to this series, Alima was the only trainer in the anime to even use 2 of these techniques, but now Ash has only gone and learned how to use all 3. I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying that these 3 battle techniques, or gimmicks, or whatever you want to call them, are going to play a big role going forward in Ash's climb up the ranks of the World Coronation Series. We found out just before Ash's most recent battle against B that the rules of the World Coronation Series state that a trainer may only use 1 of either Dynamax, Z-moves, or Mega Evolution in a battle. While this rules out the possibility of Ash becoming incredibly overpowered and using all 3 gimmicks in one battle, it does actually create a lot of interesting possibilities. So far in the Ultra class, Ash used a Z-move to take down Vulkner, and his first time using Mega Evolution was enough to overcome B's Gigantamax Machamp. He hasn't used Dynamax or Gigantamax yet in the Ultra class, but that might be changing in the near future. So what should Ash use going forward? Are any of these gimmicks better than one another, and in what situations should Ash select to use each one? That's what I want to discuss in this video, and I definitely want to hear what you have to say down in the comments. While you're down there, be sure to like this video and click subscribe. Okay, I want to format this discussion by talking about each of the 3 battle techniques individually before bringing them all together at the end. Let's go in chronological order of when these moves got introduced into the Pokemon franchise, starting with Mega Evolution. While Mega Evolution was introduced in the Generation 6 games, Ash did not acquire the ability to use Mega Evolution until just recently in Pokemon Journeys. Back during Ash's adventures through Kalos during XY, he fought against many trainers who used Mega Evolution, but Ash never expressed much real interest in using this technique himself. Cut to episode 84 of Pokemon Journeys, and suddenly Ash wanted to use Mega Evolution in order to get even stronger with his Lucario. As of right now, Ash only has a Lucario Knight, meaning that only his Lucario can Mega Evolve. The only other member of his Journeys team that can Mega Evolve is Gengar, but he does have plenty of other options from some of his older Pokemon as well. If I had to guess, however, Ash will not be using Mega Evolution with anyone except Lucario. That being said, I previously predicted that Ash would not even Mega Evolve his Lucario at any point, so if I was wrong about that, then maybe we'll be seeing Ash collect some more Mega Stones as time goes on. The first time Ash used Mega Evolution was during his battle against B. So far, this is the only time that Ash has ever used Mega Evolution, so while it is a very small sample size, I think it's safe to say that Ash and Lucario are really proficient at using Mega Evolution. While we previously saw Karina struggle to master Mega Evolution with her Lucario back during XY, Ash was basically flawlessly able to use it against B. The only hurdle came before the actual Mega Evolution, as he and Lucario disagreed on when they wanted to use it. While this may have been a bit of a stumbling block in the moment, I think it's a good sign for the future that these two are pretty in sync and able to understand each other. From what other characters have observed about Ash and Lucario, it's their strong bond that allows them to be so powerful together, and Mega Evolution only amplifies that powerful connection between the two. Not only does Lucario get stronger overall by using Mega Evolution, but it also increases its aura, something that Karina was easily able to identify at just a glance. This makes Mega Lucario very similar to Ash Greninja in a way. We're not quite seeing another instance of the bond phenomenon, but we are seeing Ash and Lucario battling in near perfect synchronization with one another, and this appears to be an incredibly strong tactic. To draw a line in the Mega Evolution portion of this discussion, I think we can say that the main pros of Ash using Mega Evolution is that Lucario becomes arguably Ash's strongest Pokemon when using Mega Evolution, and it's also worth noting that Mega Evolution lasts the rest of the battle, or at least until Lucario faints. That's something that Z-moves and Dynamax cannot match. The main con of Mega Evolution for Ash is that there is no variety with Ash's options. He can only Mega Evolve Lucario, and while it's a very strong option, there's not really any flexibility there. We've seen Lucario excel in Ash's matchups against Vulkner and B, racking up 4 of Ash's 6 KOs in the Ultra class so far. But if there is a battle where Lucario is not matched up very well, then Mega Evolution may not be Ash's best option. Let's talk about what the other 2 techniques have to offer. Z-moves, or Alolan Z-moves as they are sometimes referred to, were Ash's trump card during the Sun and Moon series. As soon as Ash arrived in Alola, he pretty much immediately had a legendary Pokemon give him a Z-ring, so it's kinda like he was destined to use Z-moves. Throughout his Island Challenge and during his run in the Alola League, Ash was shown to be very proficient at using Z-moves, only struggling to use them or misusing them a handful of times. More often than not, Z-moves were what Ash used to decisively end a battle or turn the tide of a battle in his favor. What was interesting interesting in Alola was that basically anytime Ash used a Z-move in a battle, he could expect his opponent to use one as well. This created a lot of interesting strategy in how and when each trainer would use their Z-move, but I don't think that's really relevant to this discussion since I don't think any other trainers in the World Coronation Series are going to be using Z-moves. The only time that Ash has used a Z-move in Journey so far was in episode 77 in his Ultra Class matchup against Falkner. Prior to the match, Falkner expressed his fascination with Alolan Z-moves, which makes me think that most, if not all, trainers outside of Alola are probably unfamiliar with Z-moves. This could be a huge advantage for Ash, as he knows how to use Z-moves really well, while others may not really know anything about them. The biggest pro I want to give Z-moves is the variety that Ash has available to him. As of right now, Ash can use normal, grass, rock, steel, and fire type Z-moves. In addition, he owns a Solganium Z, which I don't think he will be using anytime soon, as well as a Lycanium Z and a Pikachunium Z. So with that said, Ash can use 6 different types of Z-moves, and he can use 5 of those types with any of his Pokemon. He's not locked into using Z-moves with only one Pokemon like he currently is with Mega Evolution. I am a little hesitant to boast about Ash's diverse arsenal of Z-moves, since in all honesty, I won't be surprised if Ash only uses his Pikachunium Z from this point on. I can't really blame him for this either, since it is probably the strongest move that Ash is capable of using. I mean, it was even strong enough to break through Falkner's Electivire's Motor Drive, which isn't even possible in the games. Maybe Ash will surprise me though. I mean, probably my favorite use of a Z-move ever was when Ash pulled out his Normalium Z in the Alola League Finals against Gladion. That was so genius and unexpected, I absolutely loved that moment. As for the cons of Z-moves, they are only single use, and are definitely the riskiest of the 3 gimmicks that we're talking about in this video. If used correctly, they can basically knock out just about any opponent. However, they are far from a guaranteed success, and once you use it once, you're done for the rest of the battle. So there's high risk and high reward with this one. But what about Dynamax? Okay, so it only took Ash 13 episodes into Pokemon Journeys to use Dynamax for the first time, and I guess I should be saying Gigantamax, since apparently Pikachu has a Gigantamax factor. After Ash's battle against Leon though, he hasn't used his Dynamax band in a battle since then. He's come up against many a Gigantamaxed opponent, but he hasn't made much use of the technique himself. All 6 members of Ash's Journeys team can Dynamax, but so far it's only confirmed that Pikachu can Gigantamax, but we may just see Gengar Gigantamax at some point too. Either way, Gigantamax factor or not, the mechanics of Dynamax and Gigantamax are basically the same. Let's use Ash's battle against B in the Ultra class to really explain this fully. When B Gigantamax turned champ, it was able to unleash some really strong attacks, but none of them were able to knock out Mega Lucario. I think it's still safe to assume that they landed some major damage, but it is hard to tell since Lucario had already taken a lot of damage in that battle and it never got KO'd. Now, Dynamax isn't permanent, it doesn't last the rest of the battle like Mega Evolution does. Instead, it more or less follows the same 3-turn limit from the games. After B's Machamp used 3 max moves, it reverted back to its normal form. But don't forget that it had picked up some stat boost from using its max moves, and those carried over after it had reverted back to normal. The main user of Gigantamax that we know Ash will have to overcome at some point is Leon. In this discussion of which of the 3 gimmicks is the best, it is worth mentioning that the current strongest trainer, Leon, does prefer to use Dynamax. His Gigantamax Charizard is one of the strongest Pokemon in the anime, and it seems near unbeatable. But we'll see if that remains the case. As far as Dynamax relates to Ash, it's really hard to say whether or not Ash is any good at using it. Episode 13 was the only time that Ash had ever used Dynamax, and he did not seem comfortable at all using it. We know that Ash's preferred style of battling hinges on his Pokemon's speed, and by Gigantamaxing his Pikachu, he basically lost all of that speed, and didn't look too good if we're being honest. Ash can be a quick learner though, and I'm sure with the right training, he'll be able to use Dynamax just as well as the rest of them. So for the pros of Dynamax, we can mix in a little bit of the variety of Z-moves and the overall strength upgrade of Mega Evolution. Ash can use Dynamax on several Pokemon, and it lasts for much longer than just using one Z-move. As for the cons, we haven't seen Ash ever use Dynamax that successfully, so we can't guarantee that he will be as strong with this technique as he has already proven to be with Z-moves and Mega Evolution. This could change very quickly though. In addition, Dynamax doesn't last as long as Mega Evolution, and max moves are not as powerful as Z-moves. Lastly, it is worth noting that you can only use Dynamax at a power spot, which only exists in Galar. Of course, I think we are basically assuming that the Masterclass Finals will take place in Galar, so it will be available for trainers to use at that point. However, Z-moves and Mega Evolution can be used anywhere, which has got to be a point in their favor. Okay, let's bring this discussion to an end by talking about all 3 gimmicks and how Ash might use each of them going forward. I'm not sure what Ash's mentality is with choosing between these techniques. Will he favor a sentimental approach or a more tactical approach? What I mean by this is basically, will Ash choose to use Mega Evolution in a battle because he really wants to win with Lucario, or will he be more cerebral with his selection, and will he choose the technique that he honestly thinks gives him the best chance of winning each battle? So far, he definitely chose to use Z-moves against Volkner for sentimental reasons. He wanted to beat an Electric-type gym leader by using 10 million volt Thunderbolts, even though it was not a good strategy on paper. In his battle against B, I don't know what his thought process was for choosing Mega Evolution. Was it just because he obtained it moments before he got notified of his battle against B? I guess we don't know his reasoning for that one. I also wonder whether or not it's required to select one of these 3 options before each battle. Like, can Ash not declare that he's going to use any of the 3 prior to the battle and is able to pull whichever ring, glove, or band out of his bag during the match? That would probably be the best course of action. I think, in short, if I were in Ash's shoes, I would lean towards using either Mega Evolution or Z-moves in a battle. He may get really good at using Dynamax, but we haven't seen it yet, and I kinda think its cons outweigh its pros. In addition, Ash was already able to defeat a Galar Gym Leader's strongest Pokemon that used Gigantamax. I'm actually surprised that they had Mega Evolution straight up defeat Gigantamax, if I'm being honest. So when it comes down to Z-moves or Mega Evolution, I think Ash just has to have a good read on the matchup. If it's a battle that Lucario can do really well in, which is most battles to be fair, I think Mega Evolution is his best possible option. However, against an opponent like, say, Cynthia for example, when he doesn't fully know what to prepare for, I think I'd favor Z-moves. The variety that Ash has with the amount of different Z-moves he can use, along with the fact that any of his Pokemon can use them, is just such a beneficial strategy to me. So those are my thoughts. I guess it's not the most conclusive ending to a discussion to say, well, it depends on the situation. But honestly, I think that's the best approach when it comes to deciding between Dynamax, Z-moves, and Mega Evolution. What do you think though? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, or click the link in the description to join my Discord server and come discuss things with me and my friends over there. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.